Chuck Negron.
Hey,
What's up, man?
how you doing, Mark? Good to see you.
It's good to see you. Chuck's
Hi, Kim, take the
yeah, Kim
Mitten.
yeah. Kim McAllister, say hello to Chuck Negron. It's a
Hi,
treat
Chuck
to have him on the
Negron.
show.
What an honor to meet
Hi,
you.
Tim McAllister.
Hi.
Yeah.
How are you, dear?
Good. Happy holidays to you.
Oh, thank you.
Chuck,
My
you have
daughter's sitting right here.
This is the Chuck Negron Christmas ornament, which I keep close because every holiday I break it out. You can see it there. That's Chuck and all. Look at that guy. You were the very embodiment of 60s and 70s rock and roll. And
Oh,
your
thank
book,
you.
oh man, your book, Three Dog Nightmare, which you have since its original publication, you've added to it, like, extra stuff because you've done so much since those days. But man, you took the highest highs and the lowest lows, and you came out thriving. It's a remarkable story.
Yeah, no, Mark, I was really very fortunate that there was places for me to go to safe havens and learn about life without drugs. And I was really fortunate to find a place that actually was there a year. And this is not an interesting thing, but an important thing. It's very hard for someone to go into rehab that has used drugs and for years. And a lot of people just are on medication for years that isn't good for them. And to go in for 30 days and come out and think you're going to be okay. So I was in a place that, they kept me there a year and, changed my life.
Yeah,
Cry Help was the name.
Yeah, say it again. What was the name of it?
With two C's. It was Cry Help.
2 C's. My memory of you from the book, of your history, and I read the book years ago, but I love your story, and you know how your story, to me, and maybe I love it for reasons that you wouldn't appreciate always. There it is, Three Dog Nightmare. But when I say you wouldn't appreciate it, because I think, as I recall, you were like an amazing basketball player in high school. You were like this, out of this world basketball player. Then you were like super athlete. Then you started this band, as I recall, kind of a doo-wop sort of thing on street corners. Isn't that right, Chuck Negron?
Yeah. Well, when I was in, I was in the eighth or ninth grade. I had the opportunity to make a record, so I made a record. And back then, there weren't studios in every corner or in every house. I mean, they had to allow you in anyway. So I made a record, and then they started a doo-wop group, and I always played basketball because I was good at it and I loved it. And by the way, 16, 17, and 18 years old, I played Madison Square Garden 3 years in a row.
Wow,
that's championships as a kid from the Bronx. I mean, that's like the epitome. And then I played it 3 more times with Three Dog Nights. I'm probably the only musician the only person that's played Madison Square Garden as an athlete and a musician.
That is great. And then you take this ride up in the world of music and Three Dog Night. Where did you meet the other guys in Three Dog Night?
Well, I met Tandy at a party for Donovan Leach, and he was.
Is that Donovan? The Donovan that I
yeah,
know?
Donovan, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm Hello Yellow.
Yeah, right.
Really talented guy. Anyway, so yeah, met him at a party there. Actually, the Mothers were playing. They were a bunch of guys from the Mothers were playing. They were with Frank, and it was just a great party. And Danny and I became friends. And then one day he called me and said, "I got a guy here I want you to meet." And boom, Three Dog Night was started.
The thing that was the genius. Oh, we got to get Amy on too here in a second. There's Amy. Well, there's Amy. Wife Amy.
Yeah, Miss Salmon.
Yeah, you look good. And Amy, you guys have a big thing coming up, and we'll get to it in a second. You've got your own merch, but in addition to your own merch, you have all this memorabilia. It's pretty cool what you guys have done. But just as we get into, just quickly, your story, Chuck, as you slide into that world of rock and roll, did things click for Three Dog Night right away? Because you guys were massive.
Yes. Well, our first record came out in '68, and then '69 we had our first a million seller #1 record. So we had two singles that came out first, but they didn't kind of click. Well, one did. It went to 29, and then one, and then next one was Easy to Pardon, and then it just went. And the thing that made us so powerful and we launched so quickly was we had 2 to 3 single hits on each record. So I mean, those records went on, and almost each album had 3 hits on it. So so it went on to 21 top 40 hits in a row.
Ms. M says, my absolute favorite, in capital letters, Three Dog Night song to this day, Out in the Country. So beautiful. Also have always loved Pieces of April. Thank you for this wonderful music.
Thank you.
And you did that voice at the beginning of Joy to the World. Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Yeah, well, I sing the whole song, but
I'm saying that's the thing that punches through.
Well, you know what? When I heard the song, when I first heard it, was Jeremiah Was a Prophet. And I went, what do I say? Why are you guys playing this? And he said, well, it was the lyrics were just scratch lyrics for timing. So I said, well, let me read them. And I liked them better. It was Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog. So anyway, I had the guitar player. I said, let's put this up as high as I can, because I think this line has to be screamed. Like, I think people's gonna when they hear this line, it's, who says Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog? So anyway, it really, God, that song, it got played for a whole year. I hated that song. When it came on the radio, I changed the channel.
It had been played because it played so much.
Mark, but it played for you. It was so popular. We were the first group to ever be invited to the Grammys as a guest artist to sing a song that wasn't nominated. Joy of the World. Now, the very next year, it was nominated in 2 categories. So it was a whole year that song was out. It was on the Grammys 2 years in a row.
And the genius that you guys had was identifying songs like Joy to the World. You could, Eli's Coming. All of these songs that were done by other. Yeah, one. Thank you. One
Mama
was
Told Me Not to Come.
Mama Told Me to Come. One is the one that I remember, like the first early song of my childhood, where I thought, wow, like I got the bug for that music, whatever it was. But my point is simply that you didn't write this music. You identified music that you thought the group could bring to another level.
Well, what it was, it was out of necessity, because we first started writing together. We started writing, really kind of was, these songs had been with us for so many years that each guy didn't want to not bend, that's a kind of loaded thing, but we were attached to these. We were killing each other. We wouldn't change any songs. So being a guy that came from New York, and when you recorded in New York, they sent you right to the Brill Building, and to get all the writers. So I knew that the key to success was a great song. So I went to Chuck Kay and several others, and Chuck played this new artist called Harry Nielsen. He said, this guy has a hit but he didn't write it. Everybody's Talking, from a movie, and Midnight Cowboy, great movie. And I started doing what I did when I was a kid, and I got all these songs in, and the chorus said, I have some songs that I like. And we knocked the album out in 2 weeks, and so the director comes, can you do another one like this? We knocked out the second one, and then we were kind of stuck. So we became these real A&R guys, and luckily we had good ears.
Yeah, it's funny as you talk about it that way, because the songs that you did and you performed actually are very different than the songs as performed by the artists, for example, who wrote them or conceived of them. I mean, you really did bring them to a new life and altitude,
Thank you. I appreciate it. I was having a dinner one evening, and in walks Harry Nielsen, George Harrison, and Richard Perry. Peter, is it Richard Perry? Yeah, the producer. And Harry walks up, and he just we never met. He goes, how did you come up with changing that song that way? And I went, oh, you like it? He went, no, I don't.
Well, there you can't
No,
please
but
everybody.
Harry was very. He liked to spar, so it
I
wasn't
see.
that
I see.
he didn't like it. He just couldn't miss the opportunity to get into it. And anyway, we became good friends.
Somebody asked in the chat, how did you come up with the name Three Dog Night? Can you speak to that?
Well, it's kind of an unsavory tale. We try to stay away from that stuff.
Is it an unsavory tale? So
Well, Three Dog Night.
Yeah,
I really don't want to tell you.
it's Googleable.
No, what
It's
it was,
Googleable.
Google it.
Okay.
Van Dyke Parks. If I don't know, Van Dyke Parks, a great artist, produced and worked with Brian Wilson and many Ry Cooder, many artists. He saw an article about the Aborigines, and they live in the outback, and when it gets freezing cold, to save their dogs and themselves, they sleep with the dogs. And a very, very cold night. Actually, their only expression for a cold night was Three Dog Night. That meant it was freezing. So he thought that the idea of the camaraderie and saving each other by unifying, he thought it was a very spiritual name. So he suggested it. We ran with it.
Well, here's one for you, Chuck. Cheyenne Smith says, on looks alone, Chuck's face was the handsome Sam Elliott of the day. Not to mention his voice, which is great also. Look at you, Chuck Negron.
You're very kind. Yeah, well, I'm 81 now, so
81. You and Biden.
yeah. But that's a nice. Sam Elliott was very nice thing to say that. I like Sam Elliott.
Oh, I mean, look, you're this handsome dude, rock and roll guy. Now let me get. By the way, your face got busted up by. Was it the cops who busted it up?
Well, it was a twofold bust up. I was in a car accident. I fell asleep, and I was in a brand new Mercedes. It was I had been in the studio for 72 hours recording actually old-fashioned love song. And I fell asleep and drove into a truck. Thank God no one was hurt but me. And when the paramedics got there, the police arrived as well and followed the paramedics to the hospital. And when they said, we're going to call someone to take him home, they said, we'll take him home. And they arrested me. They thought I'd stolen the car. They couldn't see. It was actually one of them said in the deposition, I didn't like this guy because I thought he stole the car, and if he belonged to it, if he owned that car, I hated him more.
Wow. Well, yeah. Anyway, go ahead with the story. Yeah.
So anyway, so they arrested me, and I had a broken nose. My nose was broken in 3 places, was shattered.
There it is. We have a picture of it now. That's your booking photo.
Yeah. Of that evening, and my arm was broken, and when I woke up in the booking, I was tethered in handcuffs to the wall. And when I got up, stood up because I was in like a blackout. I mean, concussion. The police guy pulled me back by the chain. I had a broken arm. So I just reacted and I hit him. I mean, it's turned with a punch. And, I didn't know. This was a reaction. And they went to town on me. And it wasn't much fun.
But you went to, I mention it also because I think didn't you play like the Rose Bowl or something with that broken face?
Yeah, I played the Rose. Yeah, I want to tell you, Mark, this is when I really saw that all the people that I thought, were the father figures and, we were a team and all this stuff. I saw it change. They arrested me. They finally found me the next morning in jail. And they came and got me, took me directly to the hospital. My lawyer and I don't know who else it was. And X-ray. They started working on my nose. And the guy said, "No, this guy needs plastic surgery. I can't fix his nose." They stopped the bleeding. They set my arm, and they said his wrist is broken as well. And they started wheeling me out to get some real X-rays on my nose. And my manager came down, turned around the wheelchair and wheeled me right out of the building into a limousine, into a waiting Lear jet to take me to the show. And Doc said, he can't go on a plane. We don't know what's wrong. He's got a concussion. They just didn't care. that plane ride was terrible. The headaches, was blacking in and out. And anyway, I did the show.
Yeah, but your point is the manager didn't care about your real physical condition.
He didn't. I could have died up there.
Right.
We were going to do the show, and that was that. And I had put the band. By the way, that wasn't the night of the show. The show was the next night. They could have waited a night. But he wanted to get me there just to show I was there. So it was about pleasing the promoters and everything, because they could have waited a night and had me all that stuff taken care of. But he didn't. It was shot. Anyway.
No, you were the money. They wanted the money.
Yeah, I realized that, this is hardball. I've done this to myself. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're gonna hope someone's gonna help you out, because you're on your own.
You got so deeply into drugs, Chuck Negron, it really effed you up for a while. Your story is a story of redemption. Your story is a story about coming back from that, but you really did hit the lowest lows. When did you get into that? Like, how did it happen with the success, with the money, with the first single? When did drugs become so much a part of your life that it began to, like, what was your first exposure, and then when did it begin to blunt your success?
Well, at the parties, there was some drugs. I had never drank or smoked. I went through college. I mean, when I was through the night, I'd never gotten a high. I mean, when we first started, I'd never gotten high. I was, was an athlete. Still was playing ball when I could on the weekends. Anyway, we started, taking drugs. And I would take, a pill here or this or that with the guys. And then one night, early in our career, these three girls walked up to me at a show, and I'm just a nice guy. Hi, how you doing? Hey, and they looked at me like I was a leper, and they said, God, he's just a nice guy. Let's go. And they wanted me to be a rock and roller,
a party boy,
party boy. And they actually, so for me, and this is a true story, I'm not blaming it on this, but this is one of the things. For me to be able to get into that mode, to be around the girls, have sex, all that stuff, I had to get high. I couldn't do it. It wasn't in my nature. It's, finally I worked that out for sure. I worked it out. And, but yeah, that was one of the reasons. And then, of course, my body loved it. It lit me up. I mean, I was an accident waiting to happen. And I'll tell you that I loved it. I love being high. And so I, quickly got addicted. And then it was a whole nother thing. The days of enjoying it are gone. You're just
you tell stories of being so addled by this that not only affected your ability to show up to life, but that you gave away $1 million homes and to some drug dealer for $73,000 is kind of what I remember.
I actually had a condo in Beverly Hills. I mean, it was 3 stories. Right. The main one was 2 stories, had an elevator in it. It was the first condo, 2 stories, had an elevator. So anyway, all I could get was $35,000. That's cash, and that's what
we're so desperate.
My shit for $35,000. That was millions of dollars because I wanted the money right then. It goes on and on. Hey, listen, Mark, there was a time that I lived in a friend's closet, and that's where he kept his insulation. So I was constantly getting, those little shards of the insulation stuff. And I lived in his closet, this little closet, because I had no place to go. And finally, he kicked me out of there. I mean, I heard him one day going, someone said, hey, you still see Chuck? And I go, yeah, Chuck's in the closet. And I go, that's great. And he goes, oh, he's right there. He'll say hi. And he opened the closet, and I heard the conversation. Hi, man. That's what
unreal. Unreal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's all downhill from there. I mean, it was.
It's hard to imagine more downhill from there. I mean,
I'm 6'1", usually 185. I'm about 197 now, and I got to cry help in 1991. 126 pounds with 15 teeth. That's how I showed up.
And the drug that did that was heroin, or what was
Heroin,
it?
yeah. You graduate, you go on, on and on from one drug to the other, and finally, it was heroin, and it took over. It took over my life. I was, I was insane. Let me tell you a story that's, and I hope I'm not taking too much time.
This is great, fascinating.
But
Please.
I was sick, and it was, shortly before I went into cry help, and I was driving to my deal, and I was late, and I was short. The money was short, so I knew it was going to be a hassle. Plus, I'm late, and I come to the stop sign. I don't want to stop, but this woman is crossing, so I have to I have to stop. This old woman, she's really slow, and as she goes by me, a car runs the red light and hits her, and she goes flying to the middle of the road. The guy gets out of his car. He tries to run to help her, and he can't run. His legs collapse because he's in such shock, and he crawls to her, and he's screaming, "Oh my God, what have I done?" He's trying to help her, and I looked, and I drove away. And I was numb. I was dead. And that haunts me because of the thing that I embraced the most in my 32 years of recovery is that I feel and I care, and I would never give up that contact with people in life and seeing, smell the flowers and all that stuff, because drugs you're dead. You're just breathing.
Wow, it's so bizarre because I know how much you do cherish people now.
Oh, yeah.
For these decades that you've been clinging,
Yeah. And I
so
want to know,
it's
I don't know what happened to that woman, and I never went back and never asked. It was terrible. You just, anyway, so.
Yeah, but that's the power of substance abuse and how it can completely derail your values, your life. So you got clean, and I want to bring in your lovely wife because, like all rock and rollers, and you are again one of the original greats. Chuck Negron married someone gorgeous and younger, which is the thing you got to do. Amy, where did you guys meet?
Oh, well, we met because I was looking for someone who had kicked an addiction of that level, because I was unfortunately dating someone trying to help them get clean from heroin. I've never done drugs in my life, so I was way over my head. And someone told me about Chuck, so I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, can maybe I have my boyfriend at the time come to a meeting with you? Maybe you can.
Oh, you were looking. I see. You were looking for counsel and a way to connect your boyfriend with somebody. I'm sorry. Now I get it. Go ahead. Yeah.
And so then when one day I just thought, why am I waiting for this man to become man? This man already is, and so I upgraded.
Wow. Yeah. And it's been pretty great. You guys have been together for how long now?
Well, almost 13 years.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, it's something that you guys have done, which I've really gotten a kick out of, is the way you've kind of taken some of the memorabilia and some of the stuff of Chuck's life and turn it into merch of one sort or another. And you now have this relationship with his fan base, and it's increasing, and you platform this stuff. Tell me about Chuck's autobiography is riveting. It says, a miracle he survived, and so thankful he did, says Rain. Yeah, it really is. Tell me about this new platform where a lot of this Chuck Negron and Three Dog Night memorabilia exists.
Sure. So we sell on a platform called Whatnot. It's a live shopping platform. You guys may be familiar with live shopping or not, but basically the seller is on the screen showing you items in real time, and you get to bid on the items and engage with the seller and learn about the products. So
is that a Chuck? That's a Chuck doll?
This is a Christmas Chuck Negron. He's still in progress, but this is a vintage doll head that I added Chuck hairstyle to. I'm a doll artist, and so I make these vintage style cone dolls. And this is a Chuck Negron one. Now, when he's completed, he'll be holding like a Joy to the World little album, and Chuck will sign it. So it'll be a signed art piece.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, so I tapped into the vintage resellers community over on Instagram, which
And
then
what?
branched over into YouTube. There's a
Yeah.
whole vintage community here doing live sales, and I started creating my own little cone dolls by sourcing vintage doll heads and giving them a body and an accessory and a whole new life. So Whatnot popped up last year, and I thought, wow, this is all automated because the live sales here on YouTube, you have to literally type in like your bid and all of this craziness. So on Whatnot, it's all automated. It's just like eBay, but live. And I'm like, if I can bring all of my vintage reseller community over to Whatnot, we can make this platform work for us. So we did that. And then I brought Chuck in. And so we sell vinyl records. Chuck creates digital art that we frame and he signs. I create one of a kind items like the Christmas Chuck. I've got the ornaments that Chuck will sign.
I love the ornament. Oh, whoa, that's a different ornament than the one I
Yeah,
had.
hidden one.
Yeah, these are in the works. We still have to get a signature,
No, I have that one.
add the
You
bow
can see that one.
and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Wow.
sometimes I make posable Chuck dolls.
Oh, that's a great one. Are you kidding?
Sometimes I make dolls.
I must have a posable Chuck doll.
Yeah,
Absolutely
right.
must have it.
He's wearing Chuck's clothes. I cut these from clothes that Chuck no longer wanted. I'm like, don't give those to Goodwill. I need them for doll clothes.
So the actual clothes that Negron wore,
Yes.
those make that. What is Chuck holding? That looks like a Captain Crunch doll.
Yosemite Sam.
Oh, Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, Chuck used to have his Yosemite Sam shirt, so I made a Yosemite Sam wearing a Chuck shirt.
Oh, that's terrific. I love it.
But if you come over to my Instagram, which is listed here, right here.
Do you see it, Tony? Can you?
Amy's Rock and Pop Shop.
Tony's got it. Tony's going to pull it up for you.
You can find the link to Whatnot, and if you join Whatnot through my referral link, you get $15 off your first purchase, which you can spend on Chuck's show or any. You can do lots of Christmas shopping, finding one of a kind gifts. The vintage community curates the best vintage items, and it's so much fun. There's handmade, there's vinyl records, there's all kinds of stuff on Whatnot.
That's really cool. I just wanted to mention. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just going to mention that we'll put it in the in the
great.
description of the show. So if you're missing it now or you can't get it down, don't worry. We'll have a hot link in the description of the show to get to Amy's Rock and Pop. Is it Rock and? Is that what it is? Rock and Pop Shop.
Rock and Pop Shop, and the Whatnot link where you guys can save.
Right.
So Chuck is having a big Black Friday sale on Whatnot at 4:30 Pacific on Black Friday. And it's usually around an hour and a half. And he tells stories. We do all his merch. We're going to have Black Friday deals. We put his book on sale for $25 signed. We do $10 CDs. And then we have all kinds of fun, one-of-a-kind items. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then when his show ends, we're going to do what's called a raid. And we're going to send everybody over to my show, which is a fast-paced 30-minute show where I'm going to have all my little Christmas dolls.
I love that one.
And it's
great.
really fun. So I hope you guys can tune in and join us. And
Totally on Friday, and we'll have a link to it.
Oh yeah.
There it is, Black Friday
it's a marathon
extravaganza.
of vintage all weekend long on Whatnot. It's going to be from Black Friday all the way through Cyber Monday, and it's 30-minute vintage resellers giveaways every half hour. We'll have giveaways on Chuck's show as well, so be sure to tune in. Even if you don't want to shop, it's so much fun to hang out, engage in the chat, and enter the giveaways, and just see the nostalgia. It's just so much fun.
Love it. Well, I am, first of all, so in awe of what Three Dog Night did, the contributions to
Those
the
are my
evolution of
dolls.
music at
Those
the
are my
time.
upcycled dolls.
Wow. And apparently we're learning in the chat that you're a real doll maker. So
Oh yeah.
this is
Yeah.
So you're
No, she's got stuff in retail. I mean, she's hot. She's just besides being hot, she's hot. She there's a real following, and she's kind of squeezed me in this little thing, so I can be a part of it. That's all. Look at all this stuff.
Yeah, this is the season for you too. This has to be your Super Bowl season, Amy.
It is.
Yeah.
She's
Very,
working
very.
all day, Mark. I don't even see her. She works all day.
That's terrific. I mean, you're lucky. You're lucky.
Mark, let me say one last thing.
Please.
For the people that are concerned I'm not doing this because I have to do it. I mean, this is not changing my life financially. I mean, I'm fine. We're all fine.
Right.
I'm doing this because I want to be involved with my life, and I'm 81 years old, and I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about my career and how it looks. I'm having fun, and it's with my wife. My daughter is right. Come here. It's my daughter helps us.
Oh, that's so cool. Your daughter, who is this the singer?
Hello.
Hello. And she's a singer too, right?
Oh yeah. She's on. She's wearing a mask because of my lungs. I'm so fragile.
Right.
That because she just came in from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so
yes,
cool.
She's on an album. Yes.
Grab the album.
Yeah, you did an album together. Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But more importantly, she just graduated the Paul. And what was your major? Tell me.
Psychology. So
All right.
different route than that.
Yeah, different.
But yeah, still appreciate it all.
Well, after you get done with your dad, get your ass over here to help with my psychological issues, which are getting worse by the day. But I'll tell you that. But Chuck, your stories in your book, they take you through the decadence and they also take you through the rebirth. It's and you tell a lot of them live, and I think it's great. I'm glad you made the last point, which is, hey, Chuck doesn't need the money. Chuck did very well. This is what he wants to do, and I love that you're just you're flexing now in any way you want here as you get into your 80s. Really cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Amy, good luck on this. As I say, we'll have a hot link in our description to the discount, to everything. We'll make sure people who want to check it out and join you on Friday will be able to. And Chuck, I adore you, pal.
Thank you, man.
I think you're the greatest. So love that you're.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
Come
Thank
visit
you,
again,
Kim.
guys.
We will. Thank you. Happy
Kim, say
holidays,
goodbye
everyone.
to a rock and roll legend, Chuck Negron.
Goodbye,
Bye,
Kim.
Chuck. Bye,
Bye, Kim.
Amy.
Thank you.
Bye, Amy.
Happy holidays, you guys. Cute dolly.
Thank you too.
Love it. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.